What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back with a new video. And today, it is time that we finally do the 2022 Senate Prediction September edition. That is right, folks. Your favorite time of the year, month, whatever, is here. And we're doing the September edition of my 2022 Senate predictions. Now, in the past month or so, we've had some indicators to say that the Senate races, the generic ballot, etc., have tightened by a point or so. And while this is true to a lesser extent, I mean, when you look at the actual polls like Trafalgar and stuff, the polls have tightened a little bit. But I have to say one thing, I truly believe that this is more so just the historical some response bias. If you don't know, especially in the months of August and like July, etc., Republicans tend to don't answer polls. You can look at what happened in 2010. The polls tightened in 2010 at the exact same time. It's a historical trend, and I think that's really what it is happening with the polling. Just the summer response bias, also some crappy polls come out. Seriously, you still got adult polls coming out. It's like, why? But still, I take into account other polls I've seen and all that good stuff. Now, before I forget, of course, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share it to friends, hit the little bell, and yes. Of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, also join the channel. That is right, folks, for just 10 cents a day, you can join Real American Politics. I recommend you do it. And yeah. Alright, let's get to today's prediction. So obviously, we've had some special elections and stuff like that happen. And while some of the special elections, you know, did not turn out the way I expected it, people that really are trying to correlate, you know, us doing poorly in New York special elections or, you know, the Alaska special election, etc., that's kind of just bullshit. Why? Special elections historically have terrible turnout. And you look at some of these special elections that happened like New York, it was during the primary, and the primary was close, so turnout was even lower. Plus, Republicans, you know, some of these races literally have not ran a campaign at all. Plus, we've seen this in the past. I mean, look what happened in Hawaii's 2nd in 2010. I think Republicans, you know, won that seat. They proceeded to lose it in the general. That's my point, folks, that just because, you know, the other candidate, or I should say other party, is winning these special elections, doesn't really mean or correlate that much. It never has. So let's get into it. Let's start with all the obvious, no matter what you do. These are safe states. Alaska, guys, yes, Murkowski I consider more of a Democrat. She's technically an R. So either way, even if she wins, even if Chewbacca wins, etc., Alaska's safe Republican. Guys, Mike Lee is going to win by 15, 20 points. I mean, just, yeah. These people that really think that, you know, Utah's going to be competitive or just delusional. Idaho, the Dakotas, etc. Kansas, people are going to say the abortion referendum. How many times do I have to explain this? That abortion referendum was horribly worded. I mean, some people that were pro-life voted against it. It's like, people didn't understand what the referendum meant. I mean, it was like, what was like 6 paragraphs long? It's like, people are not going to understand what it meant. And plus, even I struggled to understand what it really did. It's kind of a shitty referendum, so Kansas is still safe Republican. Anything else is just delusional. Both Oklahoma races, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Schmidt's going to win by 15, 20 points. It's not going to be close. Iowa, Kentucky, Indiana, Alaska, or Alabama, South Carolina. And I think that's kind of the for sure, no matter what you do, these are the safe Republican seats. For Democrats, it's California, Oregon, Hawaii. I'm going to put Illinois. There's been some polls indicate that Duckworth potentially, you know, wins by within 10 points. I don't think so. Maryland, Connecticut, Vermont, and the state of New York. So these are the states that, no matter what you do, they're kind of going to be safe Republican or safe Democrat. There is one more state I want to put in the safe Republican column. I think Rubio wins by 10 points. You know, 10, 11 points. The turnout in the primary indicated it. Plus, he historically has done very well in winning. Plus, this is a red wave. I don't care what people say about, it's not a red wave, it's a blue wave. Every indicator indicates this is a red wave. Alright, this is going to be an extremely Republican environment. Anything else is delusional. So in my opinion, Florida is safe Republican as of now. And I've seen some polls, they indicate the same thing. So I think it's safe Republican. Maybe Rubio wins by 9.5 points. That's why I don't have it in the for sure, no matter what you do, it's safe column. Alright, so that's that for the safe states. Now we gotta go to the likely states. And there are a couple likely Democrat states. The first one I'm gonna say is Washington. I'm a bit less confident in us winning. Now, with Washington, they have an extremely weird primary system. It's not the best to correlate, primary turnout to, general election turnout in Washington because it has the top two primary system, the jungle primary crap, and it's kind of confusing. Some people may not even vote in it, and either way, though, from the polling I've seen, it is tightening a little bit, but I don't think Smiley's going to be able to win it. I think she loses by 8 or 9 points. It's still a good thing it's within 10, just I really do not see Smiley winning as of now. Now, could that change? Absolutely. She is running a solid campaign, but I just don't see it as of now. Colorado, likely Democrat. O'Dea, according to the polls, is running, kind of even with Bennett, or if not, within 5 points. But I am having such a hard time believing that he's going to be within 5 points. My issue is, yes, he may do better in the Denver suburbs. But if the rural Republican vote's not going to turn out, that's not the most votes in the world in rural Colorado. But if they don't turn out, yes, you could do better in the Denver suburbs, 10 points. But if the rurals don't turn out at all, it's kind of counters act each other, and it's a 6-7 point win for Bennett. And O'Dea's not running a good campaign. The people saying he is, they're the loser, right? Those are the people that, they're mad that, we saved a bunch of unborn babies, and we're going to lose a House seat because of it. That's the type of people we're dealing with. But with Colorado, either way, it is going to be within 10 points, I think. Just the only reason it's going to be within 10 because Red Wave, plus O'Dea technically has some appeal to the Denver suburbs, but that's not going to really do much. So I think that's that for the likely Democrat seats. For the likely Republican seats, I do have a couple, all right? For one, I think Ohio, again, Vance is going to win. Vance is going to win by 7, 8, 9, potentially 10 points. Could be safe. Again, I just want to see some more polling data. It appears that it's finally starting to widen according to the polls. And it's appearing more and more likely that it's potentially going to be it's going to be a 10-point victory for Vance. But for now, I have it as likely. Same thing in North Carolina. Again, there's been some crappy polls coming out of North Carolina, claiming that Ted Budd's going to lose by 5. These polls are freaking Democrat pollsters. And historically, they've been bad. Not, a decent Democrat pollster that tries to be right. They're just the wishcaster type. And you look at some of the crosstabs, it's what? Ted Budd's winning independents by 15, I think it was, in one of them. Yet he's losing by 3. It's okay, sure. But North Carolina, in my opinion, a 5-6 point victory for Ted Budd. He's going to win that seat fairly easily. So that's that for the likely Republican seats. And people are going to say, but what about Wisconsin? After seeing the Trafalgar poll and looking at it, for now, all right, this is for now, all right, until I see something different, I'm still going to keep a likely Republican. Look, I know the Trafalgar poll came out and they had Johnson down, but here's the thing though with Johnson. If you think Trump overperforms polls, Ron Johnson's a whole different level. And when you really look at the crosstabs, there are some really strange things about, how much was to be white, how much of the electorate's going to be white. It wasn't really that white compared to how Wisconsin really is. And the Trafalgar poll had some weird stuff also. And when you look at it, Ron Johnson historically has vastly overperformed the polls by upwards of double digits, especially this far out. We saw this in 2016, and you account for that, well, Ron Johnson would win by 7, 8 points if you compare it to what he did in 2016. I think it was down by 6, 7 points at this time, yet he won by 3 or 4. So you just do some basic math. It is hard to pull Wisconsin, especially a Senate race. A Senate race, makes a presidential race look easy. It's not an easy thing to do in Wisconsin. So like the Republican as of now. You thought I was going to change that. No way. So that's that for the likely Republican seats. For the other states, let's go from northeast to west. We're going to start in the great state of New Hampshire. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting state where Republicans do have an opportunity to win here. They absolutely do. This is a heavily anti-incumbent state. I don't care what those losers on Twitter that claim it's not. New Hampshire is one of the most anti-incumbent states in the country. It's just a fact. I mean, look what they do in presidential races. I mean, Bush won New Hampshire by 3 or 4, then proceeded to lose it by 4 in 2004. Trump barely lost it by like a half point, and then he proceeded to lose it by 8. That's the type of state we're talking about. They just hate incumbents. And that's the good thing. But the problem is, I have some serious questions about the Republican. I prefer Chuck Norris. I think he's the best candidate to win that race. Some people prefer Don Bolduc. I have some serious questions about him, especially what he said about Russia. I mean, how we have to put troops in Ukraine. I don't think that's going to bode well for New Hampshire. So that's why, as of now, it's going to be, I think, a close race, within 2 points. Until I see something differently, until I see a poll that's worth a damn, and after the primary, because, well, the primary hasn't happened in New Hampshire. Not really a good idea to look at polls for the general election because, well, a lot of Republican voters that don't like Bolduc, they're going to vote for him in the general, but they won't admit in the primary. For now, though, I'm still going to have it New Hampshire's lean Democrat. We just got to see something. I just want to wait really for October. That's when the predictions are going to get a bit more, I guess you could say, closer to where it was. But for now, New Hampshire is lean Democrat. Pennsylvania, I think Oz is going to carry it. I truly think Oz is going to win it. Like, not by just, a quarter of a point. He's getting closer to a lean margin. The reason for that is his campaign's in full gear. Finally! They finally realize, oh wait, Fetterman can't speak. He's refusing to debate, so let's bash him heavily over that. And it's working. The polls went from, Oz down by 10, which I don't believe, to Oz down by 5 in just like 2 weeks. And sure, some of the polls were not the best, but there are other polls that are good that are showing the race is tightening dramatically. And with the fact that Fetterman's refusing the debate and, well, what Joe did last night with the whole, half the country are fascists and we need to go get rid of them, I think Oz has this. Plus with Trump, I'm going to do a rally for him this weekend, I believe. I think he's going to win the race now. You look at the crosstabs, he's crushing Fetterman with independents, doing fairly good with those Democrat voters in northeastern Pennsylvania, or eastern Pennsylvania in general. He's doing great with, those Trump Democrats, but also with those suburban Democrats, in the Philly suburbs. He's doing great with them. His problem are the voters in, like, the T. Well, Oz, I think, with the Trump rally, could finally pick up those voters, and, well, that's kind of game over for Fetterman. He's not doing that good at all with those independent voters, which, in a state like Pennsylvania, you kind of need to win. So, Pennsylvania, till R. Georgia, again, I think Georgia, Herschel Walker's going to win by like 3 to 4 points. He had some stumbles. I'm not denying that. He said some things that weren't the best. But people are overreacting. And the polls are indicating that, well, I know the polls are not the most accurate thing in the world, but even they're admitting that Walker is starting to kind of run away with it. Not by a large amount, but, by 3 to 4 points. In a state that, generally speaking, polling actually, kind of accurate in, well, somewhat outside of primaries. But Georgia is one of those states where Herschel Walker thinks he'll win by like 3 to 4 points. Now, for the governorship, we'll get to that later, but it appears Republicans are going to sweep all the races in Georgia this cycle. Now we got Arizona. Very similar things happen in Arizona like Pennsylvania. Not, how, Masters is down with Republicans, but Masters is starting the surge. You look at the polling, and again, the same things happen. Not what Nate Plastic is saying. The actual polls. I recommend you look at 270 to win, all right? That's one of the best websites to look for polling at. It is a phenomenal website. I recommend you look at it. Point is, they're showing that, the race is starting to tighten slowly. Plus, you got, Peter Thiel spending even more money on the race, and, well, the fact that Mark Kelly is not pulling that great for an incumbent, that's all I will say. I mean, he's barely cracking 50%, if at all, in any of these polls. And Masters is already doing 3 to 4 points better than McSally at the same time 2 years ago. So I think Blake Masters, he ends up winning the race by a point, and I think he's gonna win. I don't think that's a hot take. I just think as of now, Mark Kelly's struggling. He is struggling in the polls, even for Arizona standards. He's doing worse than he did in 2020 at the same time. And yeah, Masters, in my opinion, will win Arizona. Nevada, everybody knows my stance on it. That's really... I think the recent polling kind of indicates that, yeah, Adam Laxalt's going to win that race 3 to 4 points. I mean, the polling is so bad for Democrats there that even they can't get Cortez above 45%. Terrible numbers for an incumbent. Plus, you got Trafalgar showing that Matt Laxalt's about winning by 3 points. And even the trash polls like, Suffolk University can't get Cortez above 45%. So that's that, folks, my current Senate prediction. Again, some things could change, like Pennsylvania, New Hampshire. But I think it's starting to become more and more clear where Republicans are going to win this fall. Now, again, there's some states Republicans should invest in my opinion. New Hampshire, Washington to an extent. But ignore a state like Colorado. Don't spend a dime in Ohio. Seriously, Mitch. Stop wasting money there and instead try to help somebody like Oz. Somebody like Laxalt, somebody like Masters, somebody like Walker. Not Vance. He's going to win by easy margins. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share it to friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And, yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.